Hey mystery solvers, we have some great mysteries to talk about today, but first we want to introduce you to another awesome podcast.
Welcome to Haunting History, the podcast that reaches back into the past for the events that shocked us. Tales of true crime, mystery, and the macabre. And when we're lucky, those stories where the past and the paranormal meet. Because who doesn't love a good ghost story, right? I'm your host, Kat, and joining me every week will be one of my co-hosts. Either Haley, my partner in every idea I have, or Tress, my lovely sidekick in all things paranormal. Join us this season as we discuss and share true accounts from all over Southern California and beyond. From haunted locations to newsworthy incidents and crimes that stunned us. We will dwell deep and find the people behind the headlines. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Haunting History Podcast, and rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. Also, visit our website at hauntinghistorypodcast.com. Until next time, remember, the living are far scarier than any ghost.
Does that sound good?
I think so.
Why
I just
don't we know how to podcast? Okay. The knobbies are in the same location that they were last time. I don't understand.
Well, remember how we were like so quiet and we adjusted everything?
I did, but then it was fine. And we
But
haven't
it was
touched
fine,
it.
but it must have gone back to like how it was before somehow.
Maybe it's haunted. Do you think our mixer is haunted?
Probably.
Like the computer in Beyond Belief?
No, that computer wasn't haunted. It was a big disappointment.
Okay, I think this is fine.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back, listeners.
Hello. This is Perhaps It's You, an Unsolved Mysteries rewatch podcast. You're here with your two cool mystery aunts.
Liz and Samantha. I'm Samantha.
I guess I'm Liz then. I'm just going to take off my earrings that are stabbing me under my headphones. So
Podcasting is hard.
Cool. Yeah, I take back everything I ever said about it being easy.
We don't know how to make ourselves sound good.
We don't know why we keep doing this.
All right, you can't wear earrings. You can't have the heat on a horrible winter day like today.
Yeah,
in
which
Minnesota.
I'm not prepared for. I'm wearing the world's baggiest sweatshirt dress right now.
It looks
that just
so
says
comfortable.
lazy across the back in huge letters. And I was like, I think I'm going to wear this all winter long. So Samantha,
I
probably
support this
won't see
decision.
me wearing anything else but this giant sack.
I support this decision. I had to try and drive to work this morning when the roads were literal ice rinks. I've never experienced anything like the roads this morning in Minnesota. It was crazy. I hope if you are local, you weren't out and about in it because, yeah, I don't even know what happened. It was like it rained and then froze or something.
I already slipped all over the road last night in the tiny bit of dust that was on the road because it was very slippery.
Yeah.
And luckily I hit nothing, but that's just a miracle.
Winter's terrible.
So I was like, oh great, it begins.
Here we go. It started.
Oh, are we complaining about the weather? Then you know that you're listening to the Perhaps It's You podcast from the great state of Minnesota, which I honestly do love, but maybe not today. I'll tell you what I learned though. If you live in Chicago and you're going, man, I really like Minneapolis, but I don't know if I can survive the winter. It's not worse.
Oh, good.
That's my lesson for you. If you can survive that winter, you can survive this winter.
Yeah.
And actually, you'll probably be outside less because Chicago life just involves a lot of walking around, trudging through slush to get to one form of public transportation for another. And there's just a little bit less of that here. So
yeah, we got skyways and stuff too.
Yeah, also, why doesn't Chicago have that?
Yeah. So
it's just cold as fuck, but there's no, Toronto has tunnels. Here has skyways. Chicago is just fucking deal with it.
Yeah, you really, if you plan it right, don't have to go outside at all.
Yeah.
Even if you have to drive to the city, you just get in a parking ramp and then go your way up to the skyway and go where you need to go.
There's a little weather lesson that no one asked. Liz, shut your yap. No, it's my podcast. I'll yap about whatever I want to.
Do you have any updates?
They announced the Drag Race All-Stars season forecast today. Is that an update?
I want to hear this. I just got off work, so
I don't remember everybody.
Were there any highlights?
I mean, I'm pretty excited that Pheromone's gonna be on.
Yes.
The bitch everybody loves to hate, Valentina's gonna be on.
Okay.
Latrice Royale's back.
Ooh.
Finally. Jasmine Masters is back finally.
This is gonna be good.
some other people I didn't really care about so much, like Gina Gunn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
That'll be good. When is, do you know when
I don't know when that
out?
starts, but they just released, they just announced the cast. People are like, that has nothing to do with this show. Well, it's something we talk about. I don't have any actual relevant updates, no.
Neither do I.
Thanks for all the positive feedback on our last show, though. That was really fun. People were digging the rich people voices, and I appreciate that. And yeah, if you're so rich that it's impacted your voice, you probably didn't like that episode, but good. You're not allowed to listen anyway. 1% of the 1%ers, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we needed a good, wild episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah. God, once again, I'm just so glad we don't do a straight true crime podcast.
I know.
I would have quit so long ago.
Seriously.
It just seems really depressing.
We need the Kurt McFalls. We need the son of Sam was a Satanist. We need the rich people being scared of homeless people. Like, that is the stuff we love. We love to hate.
It's just these weird... Unsolved Mysteries is such a mixed bag, where it sometimes really is terrifying, and then sometimes is the cheesiest thing you ever saw. And you just really never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's kind of the appeal, for me at least. So, anyway, I guess I have nothing else.
I don't either.
Samantha looks real tired, everybody. I want you to give her, like, an emotional hug in your mind of spiritual energy.
It's been a long week, but
we're recording on a Friday, which we don't usually do, because that means Samantha's got to come here right from work, and she gets up, like, before the sun. So
True. Yeah, I've been up since 4:30 this morning.
She's like a farmer. She has the
farmer hours.
She has the opposite sleep schedule of me. So
yeah, I asleep by 9 p.m. last night? I was, but
that sounds pretty nice.
I mean, it would be if I didn't have to wake up at 4:30.
Oh, right. That.
So that's the other side of that coin.
Okay. All right, what episode are we on?
We are on season 3, episode 5, an episode I watched last weekend. So let's hope I can remember any of this.
This has just been speeding on by.
It really has.
Like life.
Sometimes
like
when
sands in the hourglass, just slipping through our fingers. Where did it all go? Wasn't I just a child? That's how I feel.
It is kind of how I feel about this season of Unsolved Mysteries.
Or I'll be talking about something and be like, oh, it's almost time for my 20 high school reunion. Huh, that's great.
Are you going to go?
Probably, I don't know.
Okay.
I went to my 10. That was fun. I enjoyed it, though, even though, surprise, surprise, I was the most popular kid in my high school class. No, I wasn't at all. But it was still very pleasant.
Good.
Even though those people that were jerks, whatever, they've mellowed out.
Yeah. Don't we all?
Yeah. Except for one person. And then that was, like, really vindicating. Actually. I was like, oh, you're still exactly like that? Nice.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time.
Okay, so our first segment in this episode is a wanted. A lot of wanteds. If last season was the season of the lost loves, this is the season of the wanted.
Season of the wanted, which sounds like a song, doesn't it?
Kind of, yeah.
The season of the wanted.
Will you write us a song for this?
No, because I can't say. I'm actually tone deaf. You probably just noticed that. And no, also no. This is kind of a surreal case in some ways. It had a little bit of a Twin Peaksy vibe to me.
Surreal is a good way of describing it.
Particularly when you get to the part where someone is in hypnosis and then they're showing like his memories through hypnosis. It's like very trippy.
It is.
So, I do not recommend watching this episode of Unsolved Mysteries high.
No.
Were you wondering?
The opposite of recommendation.
Liz, should I get high and watch? Wait, isn't this episode 6? Or is this 5?
It's 6. You're right.
Oh.
I did a copy and paste from my my notes from last
Liz,
time.
should I watch season 3, episode 6 of Unsolved Mysteries while baked out of my gourd? Oh, no. I don't recommend that.
This is another little PSA from your Unsolved Mysteries aunts.
Yeah. Hope you got your flu shot since last time. Hope you checked your carbon monoxide detector. Samantha's taught me you got to clean the back of your dryer. I had no fucking clue. Good thing this house doesn't burn down. And now we're telling you not to watch at least this particular episode while high.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, so we are in Hooksett, New Hampshire, 30 years ago, which Robert Stack describes as a farming community of approximately 2,500 people. In the woods surrounding the town was a thriving population of deer that attracted hunters from all around New England.
That is relevant later.
Mm-hmm. But by 1964, a hunter of a different kind arrived in the area, was the quote we get from Robert Stack.
That's really tasteless. Says me.
That year, the spring thaw revealed 2 bodies, that of teenagers Pamela Mason and someone who they never mentioned the name of the rest of the segment, but I'll have information about later.
Yeah, that's real. They skip over this. This seems like an essential point of information, right? 2 dead teenage girls.
Yes.
Which is part of the reason I was like, oh, this is kind of like the opening of Twin Peaks when you have these 2 teenage girls involved in this crime, even though one of them was alive, but whatever. But you get, like, no information on that at all, and we just skip to this other possibly connected case.
Right. So these girls were supposedly tortured and murdered. It was thought that the murderer lived in the area, but that's really the last you're going to hear about them.
Okay. Way to just sprinkle that in.
47-year-old resident Rena Paquette told her neighbors that she knew who had killed the 2 girls, but no one took her seriously.
Why?
No idea.
Isn't that so weird? If someone came forward and was like, yeah, I know who did it. Get out of here, you old whore.
They also have never really explained why no one believed Rena.
Yeah. Was she, like, known to just make shit up? Or
I don't know.
She was a woman? Or what's going on here?
Maybe the latter. Okay, so then on February 3rd, 1964, Rena's teenage son Danny had the day off school. When Danny came down for breakfast, he couldn't find his mother, who was supposed to be home because she was going to take him to the dentist later. Rena's purse and winter coat were still at the house, and it was, I guess, bitterly cold that day, so it seemed unlikely that she would have just left.
No, people don't do that.
They always have to find a reason to dismiss that they may have just
I'm
left.
guessing this person doesn't have more than one winter coat. I mean, I don't.
I don't think so.
If I'm not in the house and my winter coat, which is right there, is here, and I don't know, maybe I switched out to another purse, but if my, like, wallet is gone, yeah, what the fuck happened to me? Did I vanish in the thin air?
Maybe you left to start a new life.
No! I've declared it on the show before, and I'm declaring it now. I am never, ever, ever going to just pick up with literally nothing to start a new life and tell no one. And not tell Samantha, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Bitch, please, no.
Danny's uncle Charlie came over to help him look for Rena. The 2 searched the farm for her for over an hour, finding no trace, until Danny spotted smoke coming from a barn that was approximately a mile from the family's home. Inside, they found Rena's charred body. The reenactment of this is really sad because it's her teenage son and his uncle. I'm not sure if it was
They searched over the farm property for about an hour, looking in, various buildings and fields and whatever, trying to find where she went. And then eventually they see smoke coming out of a building and find her charred corpse.
I know, and in the reenactment, Charlie, the uncle, kind of like has to pull Danny away, and he's screaming. It's really, really sad. So next we get this ridiculous statement from Robert Stagg. He says, quote, police determined that Rena had somehow set herself on fire and then crawled into the barn to die.
Like she's a rodent. Like she's a bug or something. The people don't crawl into places to die. Also, there was no flammables found for her to...
Here's the weird thing about the fact that she supposedly set herself on fire. There was no flammable substances or accelerants found anywhere near her
So
body,
she lit herself
really the area.
on fire with what? Like her fire starter will? She just...
Magic?
Yeah. It's interesting that these police believe in magic.
Yeah.
These are people who did not want to solve this case.
Clearly.
Or... I don't know why, but it seems like they did not want to solve this case because the explanation makes no sense. People do not just light themselves on fire as a form of committing suicide. And even if she had done that, which seems bizarre and
how would
rare,
she have done it?
How would she have done it? It had the power of her mind, apparently.
She didn't light herself on fire, somehow hide the accelerant, and then...
While screaming because her skin is literally burning off, she was like, oh, I better put this gasoline over here. It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
And then she crawled into the barn to die like a rat.
So despite not finding any source of how she could have started herself on fire, her death was ruled a suicide. Her family believes she was murdered. Probably because she definitely was murdered.
Because she was murdered. Because her family, I don't know, isn't 2 years old?
Yeah.
They're not...
They have an ounce of common sense.
Yeah, they're not so gullible.
Rena's older son, Victor, who has an impressive handlebar mustache.
Oh,
Did you draw it? What do you call him this one?
I called it Your Majesty. because it's so grand. You have to bow down to it.
What I appreciate about your drawing is that you have accurately drawn the right side of the mustache, the left side looking at it head on, slightly smaller than the other side,
Yep.
which is exactly how it was.
Yep.
One side was weirdly thinner than the other side.
I very boldly wrote MVM next to this as soon as I saw it, because I was like, wow, that is quite a mustache. But there might be a contender
Later
in my mystery, so we can debate that. But yeah, I think everyone needs to bow down to the majesty that is Victor's mustache.
Victor's mustache, impressive. So he says that it's quite fishy that 2 teenagers were brutally murdered, and then his mother, who claimed to have known who the murderer was, suddenly showed up in a barn burned to death.
Yeah, I would call that fishy.
Yeah, seems fishy. In February 1964, the same year Rena was killed, a local delivery man was arrested, tried, convicted, and sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Pamela Mason. So here is the sort of plot twist. 20 years later, Rena's son Danny was gunned down in front of his house. Many people believe that he and his mother were killed by the same person because they knew too much. Why the man who was tried and convicted and sent to prison 20 years later decided to kill a witness? It's not really ever explained, so I hope you're not expecting that.
I sort of have a theory about that.
Oh, good. I'm glad you do, because I'm baffled by it. But next we see the troubled tale of Danny's life. Victor tells us that Danny was the most affected by his mother's death, which kind of seems understandable. He was a troubled teen who grew up and married, but then went through a bitter divorce in which he lost custody of his children. In the summer of '89, Danny went to his ex-wife's home and had what Robert Stack describes as a frightening outburst.
I don't know why we see this scene. Why is that included in this mystery?
I think it's we're supposed to be illustrating that maybe he was a little unhinged, but I really don't even know what that has to do with his death.
Like, I thought maybe they were going to point to the ex-wife at some point because of this scene.
She's not portrayed flatteringly, I will say.
You know, like, so the scene is he's lost custody of his kids. He hasn't seen them in over a month, and he just shows up at the house, like, demanding to be let in, and he's very angry, which is not the right way to deal with a custody dispute. So the police have to be called and, you know, whatever. So, but this doesn't really have anything to do with the crime. So I was wondering if they were trying to imply, like, maybe the custody battle was so bad that...
I didn't even guess that, because they never really make any connections like that. I thought they were just saying that, like, look how much his mother's death affected him. Even as an adult, he couldn't control his temper. Yeah, or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
They never really connected those dots.
It's strange.
So.
It seems like an unnecessary detail to put in there to me.
It also, unfairly maligns his ex-wife, who is portrayed not well in that reenactment.
Right. Well, he's acting like...
Even though she got custody of their kids, so there's something we weren't told.
Well, he is so angry. It's really, really inappropriate.
Right. So Danny was ordered to undergo psychiatric treatment... Robert Stack.
Okay, I guess that's why. Because of that incident, he gets the psychiatric treatment, and that leads to the hypnosis.
And I think I wrote it down. Yeah, he was in psychiatric treatment for 5 months, and apparently the psychiatric treatment included hypnosis. Okay. The memories Danny recovered during hypnosis included waking up the morning of his mother's death and seeing her and a delivery man fighting. He became convinced that he had seen his mother's murderer and that it was the same delivery man who had killed Pamela Mason.
When we see this memory through hypnosis, they kind of chop up the sound and make the picture, like, very hazy.
Yeah.
So you're hearing his mother say, like, Danny's upstairs. I can't do it, but it has this trippy, dreamy quality to it, which is why I'm telling you not to watch it high.
It's super weird. And
it's a little psychedelic almost.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. It's a weird effect we haven't seen them use in Unsolved Mysteries yet.
Yeah.
They're experimental. Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
So this hypnosis thing is obviously bullshit.
But don't you want to see a guy with a stash under hypnosis?
Kinda.
Samantha's like, no, I just want to take a nap.
I mean, that's true of me the second. This hypnosis thing is ridiculous because the man, there's a man who went to prison for his mother's death. So the fact that he has these recovered memories of that man arguing with his mother the morning of her death is not that surprising. And whether or not that actually happened, you can easily see how he could make up a memory under hypnosis.
I didn't realize that the person he's remembering is the person that was in prison.
Yeah. And it had been 20 years since that man went to prison. And he's having these recovered memories of that man arguing with his mother the morning of her death. So this is not...
did we get from her death being considered a suicide to someone going to jail for it?
So the man who was in prison did not go to prison for murdering his mother. He went to prison for murdering
the teenager.
Pamela, one of the teenagers.
Oh,
but
and
his mother was convinced that she knew who killed the teenagers. So I guess I didn't articulate that very well. And everyone in their family thinks that this man who was in prison for Pamela's murder killed Danny's mother.
And then he has supposedly this recovered memory that supports that.
Right.
Okay.
So that's not that surprising. He already in his real life thinks that this man killed his mother. So yeah, it's stupid.
This man that has no time and no patience for this nonsense.
I also don't understand why everyone's theory is that this guy who's been in prison for life 20 years later suddenly decided to kill Danny. I guess it's because they're trying to suggest that Danny is going to get him in trouble for killing his mom, but he's already in prison for life. So
I guess I didn't follow this clearly because I thought they were saying the reason to kill him was that after all this time was that he was remembering things under hypnosis.
I think that is what they're saying, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
Because he's already in prison for life. So what? I don't understand. Then one day, Danny was welding in the garage. So he gets out of this, I wrote on sketchy institution that he was in for 5 months.
Was he literally committed for 5 months?
He was in there for 5 months, and they said that he was sent there. So
that's intense.
Yeah. But when he got out, Victor, his brother, says that he began to enjoy life again.
This was actually really sweet. Like, he gets out, and his brother Victor has paid all his bills. Yeah. And it, like, somehow brings the two of them together, and they show them, like...
riding motorcycles together.
And stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they weren't spending that much time together before this happened, but it seemed like it...
It did seem like they were kind of close, but not super close. And then afterwards, because Danny was really distant and going through a lot of shit before he went into psychiatric treatment.
So he was, like, just in a better place, and Victor was able to help him out, and it just, I don't know, brought them together as brothers, and it was really cute.
I know, they talk about how Danny started to enjoy life again. So he was going motorcycling with Victor, and just generally a happy guy.
Just riding around, having mustaches, and having a good time.
Living the dream. But one day he was welding in the garage while two friends were working on a car nearby. The friends heard a loud pop and ran over to find Danny dead on the ground. There was a hole in his chest that they first attributed to him falling on the welding iron, but it turns out that was actually a bullet hole. Police found footprints running away from the scene. The day of Danny's death was the beginning of hunting season, so police first theorized that Danny could have been shot accidentally. There were hunters sighting in their guns nearby at a local gravel pit, but a ballistics expert from New York was brought in and determined that it would have been impossible for bullets shot from the gravel pit to have hit Danny.
It's really far away.
It's really far away, and you shoot at targets that are in front of this giant mound of gravel. So the ballistic expert basically said it would have had to have the bullet would have had to turn up, go over that mound, like travel 400 feet or something, go around a bunch of obstacles, and then hit him directly in the heart.
Yeah.
So it's very unlikely that these hunters killed Danny. Now, could it have been other hunters in the area?
Right.
Maybe. It is a little strange that a hunter would accidentally shoot someone who was welding at the time.
Right in the heart, too. It's not like...
directly in the heart.
It seems like it's a really good shot, not an accidental shot.
Right. But then, also who would have... they don't to know who would have motive to kill him. It's bizarre. Stranger things have happened. People do get accidentally shot hunting, but it just seems weird. Like, he doesn't look like a deer. He's welding. He's in a garage. He's in front of a car.
Right, it's not in the woods.
Or he was welding like a tractor or something.
Yeah. He's by a building. He's not in the woods itself.
So, but, I mean...
it's daytime.
Do people get drunk and go hunting? Yeah. Do people make stupid choices? Apparently there's a lot of hunters in the area. Who knows? They did find, like I said, footprints running away from the scene. It seems odd that his friends who were right there didn't see anyone. So that tells me that maybe it was someone who was far away and accidentally shot him while
because they thought he had been electrocuted or something. Like, they thought it was related to the welding. Yeah, because he just suddenly fell over.
And they saw no one. So who knows? It's really not clear. The update is solved. In 1991, Rena's body was exhumed and her cause of death was changed to suicide. From suicide to undetermined. That same year, Edward Coolidge, the man serving time for Pamela Mason's murder, was released due to a legal technicality. In 2005, a man named Eric Windhurst was arrested and charged with Danny's murder. At the time of the murder, he had been dating Danny's stepdaughter, Melanie Paquette Cooper. When originally questioned, the two claimed that they were in a field hockey game at the time of the murder. However, Melanie later admitted to being with Eric when he killed Danny. She also claimed that Danny had sexually abused her and that Eric killed him because of this.
Oh, shit.
I didn't read this update. This is from Unsolved Wiki. Surprisingly, Eric's family members told police that they had known about him committing the murder, as it had been an, quote, open secret among the family.
Can you imagine? You're all like sitting down to Thanksgiving or whatever, and you're like, well, we all know he committed that murder, but
I guess maybe they thought it was justified.
Pass the green beans. I mean, shit, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that wasn't in the Unsolved Mysteries episode.
They were just like, update, this guy was arrested, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for Samantha to tell me why.
Yeah, that's apparently why.
I was really looking at the ex-wife.
Yeah,
but
I really thought it might be a hunter, but that
so it had nothing to
wasn't
do
either one
with his mom's death at all. It had to do with him being a child molester, or alleged child molester.
Allegedly, yeah. So Melanie Cooper served 15 months for hindering the investigation into her father's murder. Eric Windhurst pleaded guilty to murder and was sentenced to 15 to 36 years in prison. Eric Windhurst could be released as early as 2020. Rena's death, however, is still a mystery. So I do have some information about because I was really curious about the murders of these two girls.
Yeah.
I think there might be a separate Unsolved Mysteries episode about at least Pamela. I'm not totally sure. Don't quote me on that. There's not a lot of information about this murder. I don't know if it's because it happened so long ago or what the deal is, but a lot of, when you search for the information about this murder, you'll find like one or two articles that pretty much quote each other, and then a lot of information about Rena.
See, this is the problem with the internet. People act like all information is available to you, but someone has to actually upload that.
Right.
And a lot of times, yeah, it's all self-referential.
And also, the only information I could really find was from this website called Quote TV/Scary Stories. So take this with a grain of salt.
Samantha, that's where I go for my real true news. It's like The Guardian or that for me.
This murder wasn't even on Murderpedia, which is where I usually go. So anyway, in 1964, 14-year-old Pamela Mason posted a flyer at a laundromat in Manchester, New Hampshire, advertising her services as a babysitter. Soon, an unidentified man answered Pamela's ad, phoning her to say that he needed a babysitter.
Oh, God, I don't like where this is going.
On January 13th, Pamela left her home to go meet the man. 8 days later, she was found dead in a snowbank. You can imagine what happened.
That's
she was
terrible.
Stabbed and shot.
That's probably what's going to happen to me then. All right, cool.
Authorities noticed similarities between Pamela's death and the murder of an 18-year-old Manchester woman named Sandra Valade? I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name, which had occurred 4 years earlier. Weeks after Pamela's murder, a laundromat employee named Rena Paquette told authorities she had seen a man named Edward Coolidge taking an interest in Pamela's babysitting flyer and believed him to be the killer. The following morning, Paquette was found burned to death inside a barn on her property. So the day they found her was the day after she told authorities that this man, who was later convicted for Pamela's murder.
And they never thought, maybe
maybe it's a suicide?
Yeah. And apparently it's still unsolved.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hey, let us solve crimes.
Yeah, I think I know who did it. Okay.
Authorities, bring us in as consultants.
Yeah, Unsolved Mysteries didn't mention any of that. Okay, after
Robert Stack let us down, let's be honest.
After incriminating evidence was discovered in Coolidge's vehicle at his home, he was arrested and charged with Pamela Mason's murder. He was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. However, the conviction became the subject of a controversy as the searches to obtain the evidence against Coolidge were believed to have been unconstitutional. The case made it all the way to the United States Supreme Court in 1971.
Wow.
And since the Attorney General of New Hampshire had personally signed the warrants to search Coolidge's vehicle and property, the Supreme Court ruled that the warrants were invalid since they were not issued by a, quote, neutral and detached magistrate. Because apparently the Attorney General was like acting as a justice of the peace or something for this area. And he also went on to prosecute the case. So that's not, he's not unbiased. As a result, Coolidge's first-degree murder conviction was overturned. He agreed to a plea to a lesser charge of second-degree murder and was released from prison in 1991. While most people are convinced that Coolidge was Pamela Mason's killer, the deaths of Sandra and Rena were never officially solved. Coolidge was released from prison in 1991. He maintains... Oh, this is from Wikipedia. He maintains his innocence in Mason's murder and the other murders he is suspected in.
And really, she was killed the very next day after pointing the finger at him.
Literally witnessing him talking to Pamela. Unsolved Mysteries made it sound like, no one believed her. It was crazy,
I guess
Rena.
They didn't take her seriously, but it seems like she was exactly right. So.
And then she was murdered the next day.
That's so sad. And her son had to find her.
I know. What a depressing mystery.
That was depressing. And it's just like a little bit off in a way. Mm-hmm. It's a little more surreal.
Sometimes we find out that Unsolved Mysteries leaves these details out that are like very critical and that they would have known at the time.
I think this isn't going to make sense because I literally have a mystery about a child molester coming up. But I feel like they hate to bring up sexual aspects to crimes, even when they're very critical.
To understanding the events of the...
Even in, like, an update where it would have just been text, I feel like they rarely include any sort of sexual information.
No.
But we're literally going to be talking about a wanted case that's a child molester, so I can't follow the logic there.
I don't understand.
Okay. Are you ready to lighten things up a little bit?
Oh, yes.
Okay, everybody, taking a deep breath. Take it, let it out. Because what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about twins. What? This is a sci-med segment. The type of segments that make no sense. And it is just Robert Stack telling you, like, you know what's kind of cool? Twins. And you go, that's not a mystery. And he's like, kind of is.
Was that a direct quote from Robert Stack?
Sorry, that was probably a really horrible noise. Okay. So twins, identical twins. Robert Stack tells us that they've fascinated and delighted us all. They're mere...
I'm delighted.
Yes.
I know what I'm delighted by. Twins.
Twins, when they're in, like, gum ads or, I don't know, just existing in the world. This is what Robert Stack says. Their mirror images are a perfect example of nature's whimsy. Is it?
Is it whimsy?
I don't know if that's whimsy.
What would you consider to be nature's whimsy? Like chipmunks frolicking in the forest?
Yeah, nature's whimsy. Yeah, it's like when an animal rides on top of another animal to get across a river. I would consider that nature's whimsy. If you've ever seen like a bird rescuing on an alligator as like just, to be lazy, that's nature's whimsy.
Not twins.
Not twins. Not the idea that sometimes a woman gives birth to two babies. Ooh. As a child, did you ever wish you were a twin, Samantha?
All the time.
I did too, and I feel like that's a very common thing, and I
have no idea why. I think it's just novel. It's like no one else is twins. Like, it'd be cool if I had a twin.
It just seemed like romantic or cool in a way. Like, and I think I read a lot of books that had twins, and
for sure.
It was like, oh, then we'd have our own secret twin language, and
we could communicate telepathically, in Unsolved Mysteries.
Right. But now I have brother-in-laws who are twins, and
it's not all it's cracked up to be.
It doesn't really seem that special. Sorry, Chris and Ken. You're just two dudes. I don't think you can communicate through telepathy. I mean, it was probably cool to be, like, born with your best friend, but other than that...
What's that movie with the Olsen twins where they switch places?
I don't know.
Because I loved that movie growing up. I feel like that may have been the origin story of me wanting to be a twin. Obviously, I didn't love it enough to remember the title of it to this day. But you know what I'm talking about if you're listening to this.
There was lots of... I don't know. There's something... Children just must like that idea. And now as an adult, I'm like, what? Why? Really? You want your parents to be spending, like, half of the attention on you when you're born? That doesn't sound so great.
No, thanks.
Anyway, so to show us these examples of nature's whimsy, we sort of get 3 cases, except that they're all... they're not, like, good enough to be their own cases. So we just meet 3 sets of twins. Are you ready?
Never been more ready in my life.
The first twins are Mark Newman and Gerald Levy from New Jersey. They were separated at birth in 1954. Then 32 years later, they were reunited, and they had not known that the other one had existed previously. So most of it is just footage of them showing how similar they are. And then Robert Stack lifts off some of their bizarre similarities that seem to go beyond either nature or nurture. They're both volunteer firemen who have previously worked in lawn care. They are both confirmed bachelors. Interpret that phrase as you will.
What?
They both drink the same brand of beer, and they both carry their keys in the same distinctive manner.
This is so whimsical.
Oh, nature.
How do they carry
delight us?
The distinctive, like, do they bend their hands kind of weird?
I wish they had shown us what counts as a distinctive manner of carrying keys, because I have no idea. Most of it is just them
are swinging it around the key ring around their finger.
I don't know. I have no idea what that means. Most of the segment is just them, like, either sitting in bar stools or having their photograph taken so that you can see that they have, like, very similar posture and they laugh the same way.
Are you telling me these people like the same kind of beer?
Yes. Despite
My
the fact
mind is blown.
that they were separated for 32 years, Samantha.
Amazing.
Now, also, they
Must
both
because they're twins.
have walrus mustaches.
Well,
So perhaps the fact that there's twin mustaches, maybe that's MVM?
I feel like it has to be.
The bottoms are a little different. One comes to a point and one comes to like a square. I just called them twinning. I don't know.
I like it. Hashtag twinning.
Hashtag twinning. Definitely, yes. It should have a hashtag in it. They both have the same terrible mustache. They both sit in a chair awkwardly. I don't know. That's really the whole segment. There is a research scientist for the Twin Research Center, which that's a thing.
What?
Yeah, you could just research twins. And the guy says, I've watched them sit in chairs, which to me is just such a funny quote. Like, go science.
Amazing. I'm so impressed.
I've watched them sit in chairs.
So whimsical.
Oh, science. Is there nothing you can't prove? And then Robert Stack tells us scientists can neither dismiss nor explain these strange experiences.
Okay.
All right. So, two dudes.
How they sit?
Similar. Yep.
All right.
That's that guy.
Very mysterious.
So mysterious. Then we move on to Donald and Louis Keith, who are identical twins who apparently founded the Center for Studies of the Multiple Brain in 1977. So the two of them don't live in the same city. One lives in Chicago and one lives in Washington, D.C., but they believe that they are connected by a sixth sense. And their example of this is fucking hilarious. And if you watch this episode, you should really just watch it for this part. So one of them, wait, which one? I don't even know. This is a problem with twins. Who knows? One of them is doing an exercise that was suggested to him for, I guess they are colloquially called love handles. So someone tells him to do this exercise to get rid of his love handles that seems to be putting a broom handle on his shoulders and just rotating.
So there is definitely an Unsolved Mysteries gif of this moment.
I hope.
Instagram, go on Instagram, search for Unsolved Mysteries gifs. They're definitely, it was posted recently. I think reposted it. It's on there a couple times because it's so hilarious.
It's just him rotating and he's like, it's not a particularly hard exercise. It doesn't take any particular intelligence. And yet I injured myself. And what they show, because this guy cannot act, he's just a normal person, is him just standing up, grabbing the side of his groin and being like, ugh. Okay. At that same moment, his brother is walking down a hallway and suddenly gets an intense pain in his side of his groin like he's never felt before.
What you don't know about being a twin, little known fact, you're connected by the groin.
This phenomenon is known as
very inconvenient
shared pain. Okay. So the brother,
you only shared pain? You can't share groin pleasure?
Apparently not.
Seems like that would be better than shared.
Leave your dirty mind out of this.
Sorry, it's just
no.
These questions need to be asked.
The side-by-side shot of both brother holding their hand to their hip and being like, ugh, which they like line up side by side to show you they were very similar experiences. It's pretty funny. So anyway, the one that was walking down a hallway goes back to his office, calls the other brother, only to find, oh no, he went home because he injured himself. And he said, out of curiosity, I asked how he had injured himself and where. And then the other brother asks him, was it curiosity or sixth sense? And he says he doesn't know. He honestly doesn't know if it's curiosity or sixth sense. But he found out that it was also in his groin. And he knew that it happened at the same time. I just like to
Nature's Whimsy. I don't know.
All right, that is the name of this episode, by the way. It's Nature's Whimsy. And it's interesting that Mother Nature decided to express her whimsy through groin pain.
Connections.
Seems a little cruel, but whimsical of your Robert Stack, I guess.
Mother Nature's a cruel bitch. I don't know.
That's literally the whole mystery.
Okay.
So, yeah, they think that's a psychic ability. Then we move on to the weirdest twins of all. Lavana and Lavelda, which... Why is that not my name? Lavana or Lavelda?
Can we change our names?
Sure, Lavana.
All right, Lavelda.
So this is Lavana and Lavelda Rowe Richardson from Iowa. They are identical twins. They were born in 1933, and they believe that they are connected through ESP. And Robert Stack tells us that in some very scientific experiment of 300 sets of twins that they scored the highest on ESP something.
What kind of fucking sketchy scientific study? It's literally out to measure ESP.
And one example they
Something
give...
we don't know if it exists.
One example of this is that in school, Lavelda found down the stairs, and when the administrators or whoever went to tell Lavelda in her classroom, she was unconscious.
It's just at her desk?
I guess no one had done anything.
Or was she just sleeping?
Bad school. Okay, don't go there. They also have married identical twins.
That's not weird at all.
Elwyn and Arthur. And I was like, that's going to make holidays easy. Smart. That was my reaction. You're all just going to go to the same place. Yeah, so they also married twins. They tell us that they are identical mirror image twins because their medical history is identical. And that at this point, if one of them gets ill, the other doctor checks the other one to see if they're okay. What's terrible about this segment is that they go back and forth saying sentences like something out of Alice in Wonderland, and I hate it.
It's real annoying.
Instead of just one of them talking, one will say a sentence, and then the other will say a sentence, and then it goes back and forth. Like Tweedledum and Tweedledee, and like, ugh. They're also wearing matching polka dot blouses, but that gets a thumbs up. Okay. So they want you to know that they've had their tonsils taken out together, and they also had breast biopsies at the same time. What? They believe that with twins, one twin is the receiver, and they say in this case that's Lavana, and the other is the sender, which is Lavelda.
Okay.
So that would mean for these brothers that one of them is going to keep experiencing pain and sending it, groin pain, and just keep sending it to his brother, but it never goes back the other way. Seems unfair.
That does seem unfair.
So one of the most unique examples of their psychic bond occurred in 1952, when Lavelda was riding in a car with a young man who had asked her to go out for coffee. But then this latch turned in the opposite direction of the coffee shop. And when she called him on it, he was like, no, baby, it's cool, right? I was just driving her out to the middle of nowhere.
Scary.
Yeah. So she starts to freak out, and in her freaking out, the car, runs off the road. And as it's, driving into the ditch, she thinks, oh, no, what will my sister think when something happens to me? That thought sent a psychic vision to her sister, and her sister, sitting in the living room, was like, Dad, we need to help our sister. She's in trouble. And the dad literally told her, you're just jealous. Sit the hell down. This is the first time you've ever been without your sister and not included, and you're mad that she's out with a boy. Which is a reasonable, rational
thing to say.
However, that's the story keeps going. So, Lavelda was and her lecherous date were pulled out of the ditch by a farmer with a tractor.
He didn't go through the windshield?
No, that's sadly not. Yeah, it is sad. That's the worst part of this mystery. So then Levana is like, oh, okay, Dad, don't worry, she's safe now. And then Lavelda comes crashing in with her dress all messy and whatever. And her sister's like, are you okay? I knew something happened to you. And she's like, I knew you would know. And the dad's like, so that was real? So he makes them get in the car. And the sister that received the vision drives them right to the location. Even though she's never been there before. Which, how? Don't they live in a small town? She's never been to this one part of the road before. Anyway. She's like, this is exactly where it happened. And the dad was like, I'll never doubt you again, my psychic daughters. Yeah.
It's a great story.
That's pretty much it. The father, this is what it says on Unsolved Mysteries Wiki. The twins' father, who was at first skeptical, is now convinced that his daughter's powers are real, and the twins believe that ESP is how they are always connected. Aww. And it says results unsolved. Yeah, okay.
Was there anything to solve? I don't understand.
How can you explain this vision she had, Samantha?
ESP. Wasn't it? The scientists already knew it.
I mean, I feel like Samantha's going to like me less after I say this. I feel like of all the stupid, weird shit we've talked about on the show, I honestly find this almost the most believable.
I was actually going to ask you that. Do you think that twins have some sort of connection? Which I mocked this, but I actually kind of think they do.
It reminds me of, you hear stories where parents will just have a feeling that something is wrong with their child, and then that turns out to be true. Now, is that because parents are constantly worried about their children, so eventually that's going to be true? Maybe. But I don't know, it seems like there might be something to that.
Sure.
There's people who have really strong bonds, you can kind of, I don't know, sense when they're in danger.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah.
Do I think it's nature's whimsy?
Well, yeah, that's my real question for you, Samantha. Is it nature's whimsy? Is it like the design of a snowflake or a spider's web?
No.
Is it like a majestic mountainscape?
No.
No, it's really not.
It's just two babies who shared a womb.
I kind of worry that maybe I had a twin and I ate it. In the womb.
Just absorbed it into you.
That's a thing that can happen. It's very rare, but...
Is it actually eating it, though?
No,
like sharks?
No, it's not with your teeth because you're a baby. You just have absorbed. At one point you had a twin and it gets naturally absorbed. But it just freaks me out.
I hope that's not true for myself. It sounds bizarre. Okay.
Samantha, I have some news.
You take out your shirt and there's just a face.
Oh, I was going to say about you.
Oh.
I was like, here's the doctor who delivered you to tell you that you absorbed your twin.
This is, you turn around, there's just a face on your back. This is Lavelda. You've never been introduced, but...
Oh, poor Lavelda. Aww.
Okay, this has gone to a strange place.
Oh, shocking on this podcast. Look, my mystery was literally twins. Or are they real? Do they exist? Is it possible to give birth to two babies at once? Let's find out in SciMed.
Okay, next is a lost love.
Which lost love is this? I can't even remember.
I'm going to remind myself as I start to read it. So, it was 5 years before the Great Depression. Oh, yeah, this one's kind of sad. But Robert Stack tells us that it had arrived early in rural Tennessee for tobacco farmers who were eking out a marginal living in the countryside. Shortly after giving birth to twin daughters...
What? Are they real? Are we sure nature would allow such whimsy?
The wife of tenant farmer Rufus Hinkle died. With 9 mouths to feed, Rufus made the agonizing decision to give the girls up for adoption.
That is too many mouths. That's 9 too many mouths to feed.
I can't imagine what Rufus was going through. How he would possibly feed 2 brand new babies and himself and 9 other children. So, yeah, it was like he really had no choice. Albert Hinkle, nicknamed Shorty, is interviewed for the
Why
show.
not?
They henceforth will only call him Shorty through the rest of this episode.
I feel like he's one of those guys where people could know him for 15 years and not know his real name.
It's possible. So he's interviewed for the show. He says that Rufus was a man who loved his family and that parting with any of his children is something he never wanted to do. But Albert says sometimes you have to make sacrifices, which is very true. One of Rufus's daughters says that she is sure Rufus thought about the twins all the time and missed them very much. She remembers her older brother Lloyd going with Rufus to the orphanage to try and get the girls back. Unfortunately, it was too late. They had already been given away. This is possibly the world's worst orphanage. I don't know. But
Okay, I have a question about this.
yes.
So he goes, maybe his financial situation has improved a bit, or maybe he just can't live with the guilt. And he's like, is it too late to get my daughters back? And they're like, no, sorry, they're gone. We find out later that one of them was not officially adopted.
Yeah, this is why I say that this might be the worst orphanage ever, because they temporarily gave away one of the babies and then lost track of her.
And then I was like, why couldn't he at least have that one back? The temporary one.
I honestly think maybe they didn't know who she went to or where she was. Because why would you temporarily place a baby with a family and then lose track of it? She wasn't officially adopted.
They didn't have any paperwork on it.
Yeah.
And at least in the reenactment, he was like, but at least they're with good families, right? And she was like, of course, they're going to be so well taken care of. And he was like, oh, it must be God's will. He's trying to convince himself, this is for the best,
Right.
But this orphanage sucks.
They're terrible. So Rufus never saw his 2 daughters again. He passed away in 1950. Shortly after his death, the family began looking for the girls. For some reason, they tell us in Unsolved Mysteries that the orphanage wouldn't release any information on the girls until after Rufus's death.
Yeah, because I think they knew they fucked up is why.
Probably. So the orphanage was unable to locate Martha, but they did trace Mary to Bluefield, West Virginia.
It just meant that the whole family had to wait until he was dead to start looking for them. Mm-hmm. It's just bullshit.
And then he never got to be reunited with them, which is awful. Shorty and his wife traveled there shortly after to meet the sister he never knew. It is a happy reunion. Mary never knew that she had a twin sister. Mary felt that a part of her was missing. Shorty had to break the news to her that the orphanage had lost track of Martha because she had never been officially adopted. Apparently, they sent her to a temporary home and then lost track of her, which is baffling to me.
Yeah, it's really disgusting and upsetting. Here's a little piece of wisdom from Shorty, though. When you put 2 and 2 together, you get a whole. Something to ponder.
Thanks, Shorty.
As you go out into the world.
Maybe stencil that on your wall.
Maybe I'll start an Etsy store for vinyl sayings, and that's the only one I'll sell. And people are like,
you'll
could I get
attribute it to Shorty and every...
People are like, could I get
Can I get an Osho quote, maybe?
Yeah.
Why are you only selling that?
I want to live, laugh, love, and silver. Could you do that for me? And I'll be like, no, you can only get, when you put 2 and 2 together, you get a whole. Thanks.
Little dash, Shorty.
Or would you like something about nature's whimsy?
That's all I got. 30 years later, Rufus's granddaughter became a super sleuth. She was able to figure out that Martha had been given temporarily to a couple with the last name Meek, who lived 30 miles away in Greenville. She went to the town and searched census records and other documents, but she was never able to find any trace of the Meeks.
Which makes me wonder about them, too.
I know. So we get a sad update. It is technically solved. A viewer, Sandy Detain...
This made me cry. I can't believe I must have blocked this out of my mind.
Contacted the Hinkle family saying that she had found Martha. She had lived with the Meeks for 3 years, but was later taken in by the Jackson family of Johnson County, Georgia, because the Meeks got divorced. And when they got divorced, they decided to just give away this child that they
hadn't really adopted, and it seems like maybe they kind of bought from the orphanage or something shady went down.
Yeah. So that's why they couldn't find it, because she was with a different family. And in 1940, she married James Thomas, and they had 4 sons. Sadly, she passed away in April 91, just weeks before the Hinkle family found her. I hate it. I know. However, in July 1991, the Hinkle family was reunited with her sons, so they got to meet her 4 sons.
And the reenactment is really cute, and they're all so excited to see each other, and
Yeah.
her sister is talking about how it would have been so great to talk to her for even an hour and tell her that she loved her. This person she never met.
It is hard to imagine, like, finding out as an adult that you have a twin and never getting to meet them.
And this, I'm assuming this, the person who passed away never knew she had a twin.
She probably, no, I'm sure she never did.
That's so bad.
So, I know.
Mom and Dad, if I have a twin, tell me. Tell me now.
I need to know.
I need to know, okay?
Your mom calls you Liz. I have bad news. You did have a twin, but you ate her.
You ate her. So, it's kind of your fault.
Okay.
That would be my fate. God damn it. All right, last mystery.
Yep.
Not fun at all.
No.
It's a wanted. My first note is, great, I have to talk about a child molester. Because I didn't want to. Who would?
No.
Did I do any more research on this? No, of course not, because it's disgusting, and I don't want to know even what I know. His name is Kenneth Robert Stanton. So, this opens with, we hear directly from the director of the FBI, William Sessions, to tell us that there is an addition to the most wanted list. And it is this horrible, horrible man, who in 1964 was convicted of child molestation and was diagnosed with, I don't know that this is like officially considered a thing anymore, but he was considered a criminal sexual psychopath. But then somehow was later deemed fit to re-enter society and was released.
That's the part I didn't really understand.
It jumps from, he's a criminal sexual psychopath too, and we let him go.
Yep.
Okay, because he was in a mental facility and then was deemed fit. He wasn't in prison. Okay. So his MO is that he goes to a middle-class white neighborhood, kind of scouts it out, and finds a girl home alone.
God, I blocked the memory of this reenactment.
A girl home alone between the ages of about 7 to 12. He has a job as a traveling salesman, which allows him time to do this. So also be glad that's really not a thing anymore. Mm-hmm. And he'll be dressed in a suit. I don't know. They were acting like he's not going to really stand out in this middle class neighborhood, I guess is the point. He doesn't. I felt really bad for the actor hired for this reenactment because, like, what is that casting call? Like, creepiest man ever needed to play child molester, and then this guy comes in and they go, perfect. Your face scares the bejesus out of me. You're gonna play Kenneth Stanton because
I never really thought about that, but yeah, that's
like he looks creepier than the actual dude. Like I'm looking at the actual person's mugshot right now, and I don't know, he just sort of looks like a normal white guy, but the actor playing him was kind of terrifying looking.
Yeah,
and so I just feel sort of bad for him that he was like, "Mwah, this is the best casting we've ever done on this show." But his MO was that he, would be in this neighborhood. He would somehow figure out that a child was home alone, I assume by watching the house. And then he would go to the door, knock on the door, pretend to be a policeman, show the child a badge, and then say that he needed to inspect their milk because there was an outbreak of contaminated milk in the area.
Such a weird thing to come up with to get inside a house.
I feel like it's something you could tell a child that they would, like, kind of understand. Like, oh, that sounds bad.
My milk might be.
My milk? Not my milk. Oh, no, gotta let the policeman in. So they have that reenactment of him, like, smooth-talking this kid that's like, oh, I'm not supposed to let anyone in. And him being like, well, do you know where you got your milk? It'll only take a second. Like,
yeah.
Him just being predatory and terrible. And then once he was inside, he would blindfold the children, sometimes distracting them with either a thermometer or eye drops.
That part... Yeah, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know, and I'm not going to explain it any further. So, in the summer of 1989, one girl began screaming loudly during her assault, and he was scared away. As he was leaving, a neighborhood boy noticed him and wrote down his license plate number.
The hero of the story.
Yeah, which I just was really impressed by. They showed it as literally a kid just sitting on a bike wearing a baseball hat. Like, literally, he was doing nothing, which is almost suspicious. But whatever. There was just a kid in the neighborhood, and he was like, that doesn't look right. So he wrote down the license plate number. The girl was interviewed, and she was able to pick his Kenneth Stanton's photo out of a lineup. He is suspected of at least 11 molestations, well, he was at the time, in Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. And they had found his car abandoned in Ohio in December 1989, but he had been on the run ever since. So this was the FBI appealing to the Unsolved Mysteries viewer, like, do you know what happened to this total creeper? You will be happy to know that he was captured within minutes of the broadcast.
Yay, Unsolved Mysteries.
Tons of people called in to say that he was living in Ohio with his wife.
Oh.
She was unaware of the situation, but it's just horrible for her. That he had seen the broadcast, which, whoa, rude awakening for that wife. They had only been married a couple weeks.
Oof.
They're sitting down like, oh, honey, let's watch some Unsolved Mysteries. I hope it's a ghost ship. And then this starts and she just turns. Oh, that gives me chills. That's terrifying.
That's not fun.
So he fled. But 5 days later, he was captured in Rock Hill. He had registered in a motel under his own name.
That's not smart.
I feel like at that point, he might have just kind of given up.
Probably.
He was like, they're going to catch me. I can't just keep...
Can't hide from Unsolved Mysteries.
You can't. You cannot hide from Unsolved Mysteries. It's the real long arm of the law. So you'll be happy to know that he was convicted and he died behind bars in August 20th, 2011, which was fine with me.
No real loss.
Yeah, no, get off this earth, Kenneth Stanton. We don't need ya.
Nope.
All right, well, that was a downer note, but let's rate this episode.
All right, mysteriousness. It's quite mysterious.
Twins. Are twins real? I still don't know.
That's not mysterious at all. Danny's death is mysterious.
Nothing else is, though.
But I mean, okay, so Danny's death was mysterious until we found out what happened.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe it's not.
I'm going to say thumbs down. This episode's not mysterious. That's not what you're watching it for. You're watching it to see two grown men go, ugh, at the same time. And learn a handy exercise if you're worried about your love handles, as they're colloquially known.
There's a lot of things on the internet you could watch to see two grown men go there at the same time.
Well, this is the most wholesome version.
So, what about the reenactments? I think they get a thumbs up. I think they give it.
I'm waiting for Samantha to recommend something of a pornographic nature.
So, guys, there's this website you gotta check out.
Okay, wait, what? What are we on?
Pornhub sponsors our next episode.
Sure. Give us a call, Pornhub. I'll do it.
Sure.
Why? Whatever.
I'm not above advertising for porn websites.
No, totally. Call us up. I'm sure our listeners will love those coupon codes.
All right, what are we doing? Oh, reenactments? Thumbs up for sure.
Yeah.
Those twin reenactments.
Ones are great, so thumbs up.
Fashion?
I mean, I liked the polka dot blouses. I forgot to mention that the sad Lost Love mystery had some really great cars.
Oh, yeah.
And you also get to see like a cute little vintage house with lawn flamingos in the yard, so thumbs up for that as well. Yeah, fashion was pretty good.
It was decent.
Yeah.
MVM, I think, is going to the twin
twinning.
Twin mustaches.
Yeah, because
with an honorable mention to the handlebar.
I really was like, there's no way there's going to be one better than this. It's the Majesty. But yeah, I don't know. We haven't had twin mustaches before.
No, that's
We also
unique.
saw a mustache under hypnosis. It's a very mustache-heavy episode.
Was the mustache being hypnotized?
Yes. I remember things differently. It has like a different memory than the actual dude.
Even though he was a teenage boy at the time and didn't have a mustache?
Yeah, just the like first little, peach fuzz hairs. Wow.
We didn't see much of Robert Stack in this episode, I don't think.
I wrote down that at one point he's wearing a parka like a model. Like, it's like tucked under. I don't even know how to explain it with words. But it's like you see the sleeves on his arms, and then the actual part of the coat is like tucked back. It's like not across his chest at all, and he's standing like this. And I was like, I was like, what are you doing, Robert Stack? Yeah, I guess he was voguing a little for us.
Oh, okay. I'm here for it.
So I'm going to give it a thumbs up just based on that weirdness.
Sounds good.
Whatever was happening there. And him telling us about nature's whimsy. I bet when they came to him and said, we're going to do this segment about twins, he was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. What?
Wait, he's in the writer's room with his script, and he's like, the mystery is twins?
Guys, that's not a mystery.
What's mysterious about
I
twins?
once dated twins. Nothing mysterious about it.
All right, how do you rate this episode?
3.5.
I'm with you on a 3.5.
It's solid.
It's okay. It's a little sad. I don't
did
like
actually
mysteries about
tear
child
up.
molesters.
Yeah, no, that's terrible.
So,
Who does? I mean, I'm glad they caught him. Thanks to Unsolved Mysteries for using that crowdsourcing to get this guy caught and horrify his recent wife. Oof.
Yeah, I mean,
Poor wife.
saved her, really.
Well, that's true. Yes, did save her from who knows what. Anyway.
All right, that's it for this episode.
Samantha's like, I am done.
Well, we have one
Bleh.
more thing. We have to recommend something.
Blah. Okay. I'm going to recommend a body product shop
Ooh.
thing, online store called Witch Baby, which is products made by a witch. And you're like, yeah, Liz, of course you are. I'm not
on brand.
I'm not just saying you should buy me this stuff for Christmas. I'm not. That's not the reason I'm bringing it up. Actually, I had an order come in today, so I thought I would
Is that
make.
what all this stuff is?
Yes, I thought I'd make Samantha smell some things. What I
down.
really like from this company is their body butter.
Ooh.
It's very
Is that what that is?
moisturizing, but it's not sticky. So I ordered 2 different scents. This one is called Old Saint Witch,
I need to smell it.
and it is cherries and sugar cookies. So give that a smell. Also, the body butters come with charged crystals at the top.
The packaging is really cute. It has a witch on a...
Yeah, they're handmade in
Broomstick?
small batches, and they're made with pretty good
Ooh,
stuff.
It smells really good.
They
Is
smell
there
really good.
rock in it?
Yes, this is your charged crystal. I believe
Oh.
that's a garnet. And then this one has a...
Cherries and sugar cookies smells really nice. Can I take a little bit and put it on my hand?
Absolutely. And then I got also blood and milk body butter, which is blood orange and coconut milk.
Ooh, this is really nice.
And it comes with some jasper on it. Yeah, particularly now that we're in winter, you need some serious
Oh, this smells so good.
moisturizing.
I'm gonna have to place an
Highly recommend. It's really good
This
stuff.
is serious moisturizing.
Lenny really likes to try to lick it all off of me, which is not appreciated. And then I also had 2 other things, just if you want to smell them. This is a Christmas present I got for someone. It's a bath bomb in the scent that I can't pronounce. But I think it was cranberries and wine or something. I don't know. It's pink. It's got a Christmas tree on it.
Ooh, it smells really nice.
And then this is for your bath. It's called Midnight Mass Bath Potion.
It looks like Saturnalia. Saturnalia.
There's
It smells really
descriptions of all the scents on the website, and you can see all the different ingredients. If you have any sensitivities or allergies, it's very transparent, which you don't always have to be with soap and bath products. So I do appreciate that. This is for your bath, and it says Merlot Orange Rebirth, and I have not actually smelled this yet. Oh, it's kind of like mulled wine.
good. Ooh, I need to smell this.
So
Midnight Mass Bath Potion.
my favorite body butter from them that I've had is called Candy Quartz, and it's kind of like a really light cotton candy smell.
You know what else I appreciate about this company? It's filled to the very top. I've
Yes.
never seen anything like this. Usually you get your packaging is half air. This is flush with the top of the jar.
Yes.
That's so impressive.
I know. I've loved everything that I've gotten from them that's body product, bath product wise. What else was I going to say?
Where can you find them? Do they have their own website or is it an Etsy shop?
They have their own website. It's witchbabysoap.com. She is a witch. You can get a subscription box. It's a spell box that has things that you get products that correspond to the moons and astrological things. She also makes body butters that are charged under different full moons.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I need some of that sugar cookie cherry
Yeah, I wish I had ordered a bigger one of this. This smells
body
really
butter
good.
because it smells really good. And you're right, it's moisturizing without being sticky.
It absorbs really well. Yeah. Sometimes body butter, if you've ever put just straight cocoa butter on you, which is good for you, but it is also just goop.
Yeah.
It's almost too thick. So this is a little bit lighter. Anyway,
That's lovely.
I'm taking this stone out to put in my... I'm slowly making progress on my Roswell bathroom.
Great.
I know everybody was really concerned. And it has a crystal shelf, so that's where this is going.
Well, I'm also recommending a shop. This is an Etsy shop. I was searching Etsy the other day for some Mothman decor, like
you do, yeah. Of course.
And this is a shop in the UK called Eldritch Rock, I think is how you pronounce it. And I first came upon this because someone in our Facebook group posted a picture of this like art that was various cryptids in a terrarium.
Yes, I remember that. It's beautiful.
Know if that was on their own website. I don't know if this is the same company that did them.
Okay.
But they have like a little Mothman in a terrarium, which is super cute. It looks, I'm going to show the picture to Liz.
Oh, you need that.
It's super cute.
That's so you.
But they also have like a Loch Ness monster in a little goldfish bowl, which is super cute. My favorite though, which I wanted to show to Liz because I think it's just adorable, is this Mothman postcard of Mothman like in Mothman's teenage bedroom.
My jaw just dropped. I love it so much.
Liz
I'm ordering that for sure.
Also, my favorite detail, so it's a pink bedroom with all these pink plushy like pillows, and Mothman is sitting in front of a purple laptop with his like head on his hands with his little cheeks, and then like they got the detail, which if we've talked about the Mothman statue in Point Pleasant, it has that rock hard booty.
Oh, God.
You can see Mothman's like little tight ass in the postcard. It's really
perfect.
It's adorable.
If you have any other Mothman decor recommendations,
send them our way for sure.
Be sure to send them our way. We will at some point this month be putting together a Christmas suggestion list. I do believe we did that last year and it was really fun. We just made a list on our website of different suggestions for Christmas presents that, I don't know, sort of kind of related to the show. Mostly it was us telling you what to do. So we'll probably do that again, and maybe we should put that postcard on there.
I think we should also put this Mothman pin that is called "Oh Mothman." It's Mothman looking over his shoulder. He's got his booty out and his hand in the air, like doing a.
I don't recall any of those witness statements really focusing so much on the booty. It was more the eyes and the wings and the feathers and such, but it's canon now.
It really is. I mean, now it is.
Can't deny it.
For sure. There's a little terrarium with a Sasquatch in it. If Sasquatch is more your thing.
Sure.
If you're really a Bigfoot person. So yeah, I think the shop is delightful. I love Etsy for these like weird.
Oh no, I spend way too much time on Etsy.
But also, I'm the one like totally buying this shit because it's awesome.
Yeah, you can find just the perfect things you didn't know you wanted, and then you're like, yes, Mothman, come home with me
for sure,
my love. I think that wraps us up for this episode.
I think so. Should we plug our stuff? And
all right, we're on the social medias.
Perhaps
most of them.
You. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Our Instagram has been a little dead lately. I'm going to get back into it, I promise.
Yeah, we need some quality. You need to post those jeans.
Oh, yeah. I've got some screenshots from the last episode. So
everyone needs to see those jeans that ruined my life. If you want to email us your paranormal tale, you can send that over to perhapsitsyou@gmail.com, and we will collect together listener stories. Probably if we get enough, we'll do another season finale for season 3. So if you saw a ghost or a UFO or you made out with Robert Stack on his yacht, be sure to let us know.
For sure. You can send us a little bit of money on patreon.com/perhapsitsyou and get some extras, like a bonus episode once a month. We do watch parties from time to time where you can watch a show with us. We send you a postcard and some stickers, at least right now. Yeah, thanks to everyone who has subscribed recently. You get access to our backlog of bonus episodes, which I think are pretty awesome.
10 or 11 by now, so there's a lot of material there to binge through. And if you want to give us... If you don't want to give us money, but you want to give us a tiny bit of your time, you could go and rate us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. Just know that we only accept 5-star reviews.
Only 5-star reviews. Even if you're critical of us, that's fine, as long as it's a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can say, worst show ever, 5 stars. That's fine.
Yeah, we're fine with that.
Just say, Mothman says hi. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, bye. Solve some mysteries, bitches.
Bye.